Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming here today. It's an honor for me to stand here today and give you a little bit of story about the Brabant Development Agency, as well as the Province of Brabant in the Netherlands, where all the organizations that present here today are connected to and also present in.
One idea can change everything around us. Good ideas create energy. They make people think and might even influence others to get started with their own ideas. But what changes imagination into implementation, thinking into doing, and dreams into reality? We're there for the creative thinkers, the bright minds, the change makers. We love innovation, embracing change, and putting your ideas in motion. Changing the food industry, our healthcare system, and our energy solutions. Changing our lives through technology. It all starts here. BOM, catalyzing change.
So this was a short introduction about the Brabant Development Agency and what we're trying to do here, catalyzing change. That's basically our mission today. But where did we come from? Now, the picture that you see over here is not the people that are cheering for the creation of BOM, but this reflects the time that we were into in the early 80s, when we still struggled from the economic crisis in the 70s. And already 3 other regional development agencies were created in the Netherlands, and the 4th one was created in North Brabant, which is a joint adventure and a venture, I would say as well, between the Province of North Brabant and the Ministry of Economic Affairs. And has 3 core activities. We do invest in companies, especially startups and scale-ups. We do innovation programs, develop that together with companies, universities, and research institutes, and we do foreign investment promotion. But over the years, our mission or our goal or our target has changed. And for example, in foreign investment, it's not about the volume anymore, and it's not about the number of companies or the number of jobs that we create, but it's especially now the value that we create with attracting the right companies in the ecosystem, really get a push and development to the ecosystem. It's also from growth to impact. Where can we make a difference? Where can we build and build to the sustainable future of Brabant? And we do that today with 90 people that work for BOM. And we have 3 core competences, like I said. And first and foremost, I think it's most present, and also a number of these startups are also funded and financed by the Brabant Development Agency. We're a venture capitalist. We have over 500 million euros in assets and over 400 million euros invested into startups. We're the most active venture capitalist in the Netherlands, putting money into startups and also scale-ups. We also do that in energy projects. In what we call development is especially that we're trying to make new innovation programs, where we try to really stimulate a cooperation between companies or within companies together and the research institutes and education, for example, to build a new prototype. And that as the new prototype has been realized, that prototype could also create a new company, or technology is being transferred again to one of the partners that will bring it further into the market. And the final part, where I'm responsible for, and today also Edwin and Twan, my colleagues here are also present, we do the foreign investment promotion. So foreign investment promotion in Japan, but basically all over the world in the top innovation hotspots to attract new foreign companies to our region. But since 7 years, we also support Dutch companies to go abroad, Brabant companies to go abroad, and enter new markets. And it's from contact to contract in the business development part. And most importantly, also today, but we've been active doing this already in the past 20 years, really try to create value together. We have a lot of foreign companies in Brabant, and we try to visit at least 200 companies on a yearly basis, and really try to see what is the future? What do you need for your future? Are you aware of the ecosystem that you're in? Are there new opportunities for cooperation where we can bring you to the attention? Can we make new introductions? So creating the value together. Now this is basically the sheet that tells our story in one slide. So with these 3 core competences, we really try to also combine developing, investing, and internationalization to make a difference in the 3 societal challenges that we have. And the climate neutral energy solutions that we're looking for, the healthy future, and sustainable food systems. And we need the key enabling technologies to make sure that we can do something in these transitions. And we try to do in the core competences, we try to do the right thing in the right way. But together we can also make a difference in these teams. And the final part is venture building, where I have more slides on later on. We're really trying to build companies from startups to scale-ups. So how do we know what we need to do? So for that we use or adapted an ecosystem model that was created by Erik Stam, Otto Raspe and Dialog, which represents the complete ecosystem. And here I will show you an example, regenerative medicine and biomaterials in the team, The Healthy Future. So what we did is basically we did a SWOT analysis with the team. So where are the strengths, where are the weaknesses, where are the opportunities, and where we also see the white spots. And I just give you 4 examples and then what we've done as BOM to build a world-class ecosystem. So in this case, we saw that there was not enough funding available for the companies. So we really tried to create more funding and invest more into startups and scale-ups to make a change. We also saw the market demand, that the Dutch companies were struggling to get enough market demand. So we also organized trade missions, or we visit exhibitions with these companies to generate more sales also in foreign countries. Another thing is that on the infrastructure, we saw that the startups and scale-ups were really struggling with getting a pilot plant or the first manufacturing being done. So together with the Province of Brabant, Ministry of Economic Affairs, we created a project team and really also got the funding available to create this development pilot factory and development facility. And finally, we also saw that companies were struggling or there was inconsistent growth. And we really created a venture building program for these startups and scale-ups to come to consistent growth and successfully enter our market. So venture building, a really important program that in the end we also use for international. So over here, each company will go through 4 phases in the life cycle. And in this particular case, we really focus on the phase, the introduction stage and the growth stage. And what you see is that in each stage, there's certain milestones that you would like to achieve as a company. So in the introduction stage is low sales, that's a fact of life, with high cost and no or little profits. And then the key question is it investment ready? Do you have a solid business plan? So what we saw 10 years ago, many companies approached, many people with good, maybe bright ideas, but there was not a solid business plan. And many people got rejected because there was not a solid business plan. And also, basically, we also got a negative tone because we rejected quite a number of proposals. So we created the Investor Readiness Program. So together with these people, we said, okay, you have to go through 8 steps to really come to a solid business plan. The companies that went through the program, 80% of these companies got funded by the program, whereas before it was only 10-20%. In the growth stage, it's also, Icon Philips is maybe very much known, but it's also known that it had great technology, but didn't bring it to the market at the right time, or still working a lot on technology. Is the market ready for your product, or your product is ready for the market? And do you know that you can successfully enter a market? Because what we see is that inconsistent growth with too much attention to, for example, you have building a prototype, but you already have a full marketing and commercial department, can really lead to losing a lot of money on the wrong things in your company. So we can see inconsistent growth, not having the attention on the right things in building up your company can lead to failure. So in venture building, what we see is people get a bright idea. They start something. And in the start of something, they collect a team together, and basically they're being confronted with certain challenges, and they deal with that challenge. And in that challenge, they will seek support, and they will find somebody that can support them. But really, it's always after the challenge that you see. So what we really like to see, what we want, is that there's a bright idea, there's a good idea, there's capital, there's a plan, there's a mission, there's a good team available, and you know when and what, how to bring to the market. And for that, we created these programs. But the programs, we don't advise them. Basically, in every program, and also in international readiness program, we've defined 7 or 8 steps to come to a successful and consistently growing startup or scale-up. And we give them assignments every time to experience themselves what you need to do to become a successful and consistently growing startup or scale-up. So within the venture building program, these venture building framework, these programs are very essential to make things happen. But we also offer nowadays individual coaching, often also by former CEOs that are available and try to coach other startups. Also insight, also for ourselves. I think with the whole regional development agencies in the Netherlands, who are responsible for more than 50% of all venture capital startup funding and financing in the Netherlands, we've already supported 500 companies running through our program. And you see that startups are getting more successful. Still, we see a challenge in startups from scale-up. And that's also where we introduced the market readiness program. So we want to have 5 new fast growers per year. And it's not about more startups, but it's really about more successful growth of startups. So today you've seen all companies and stories about Brabant. Let me highlight a few other things also about Brabant that's not been addressed today, and why it's also good for Japanese companies to come to Brabant. And in the end, seeing is believing, and we say Brabant is bright, so we create also a bright picture for you here today. I think most important, I think that's also for Tokyo area, and that's also for us, is a geographical location. If you look to this map, you will see the four largest airports in Europe and the 3 largest seaports, and you see the economic corridors between London, Paris, Frankfurt, Amsterdam. In this map, 170 million consumers live there with the highest GDP per capita in Europe. Distances are short, so basically if you're sending goods or you're traveling yourself, I think 70–80% of your goods or the people are traveling through this area. And we're right in the middle. We're also the #1 region in R&D spending, and I think by the examples today, you see that a lot of research and development is being done in our region. We have 15% of the land size, 15% of the population, but we do 20% of exports. We're responsible for 25% of the added value in the industry, and 30% of all our research and development is by companies being done in our region. And we have, let's say, 7 really strong industries. High-tech systems and materials, we're talking about more than 15,000 companies, more than 130,000 people being employed in this industry. In life science and health, more than 60% of the production value of pharmaceuticals in the Netherlands is being created in our region. The bio-based economy, very important. I think today we already spoke about recycling, circular economy. We already have more than 500 companies active in it. Basically also because we're very strong in chemicals and agri-food. On aerospace, also what's good to mention, the F-35, all the European service and maintenance is being done in our region. And last is the ICT and data science, or AI, where also more and more you see the combination between software and hardware, where machines can be controlled or even maintained from all over the world from just one place in Brabant. I already mentioned about the innovation leader. I think some of the products maybe that you know, there's a link to Brabant. It's the DVD and the CD, but also Bluetooth. That was done by Ericsson, which is located in us, and also Wi-Fi, but that's more connected to a professor from Brabant than a facility itself. I think most important in this case, and that's the next slide I want to show you, this is what we call the Philips family tree. Philips is over 130 years. Today has a turnover of 20 billion euros. But it's been very important for our region, and it's very important for the city of Eindhoven. City of Eindhoven would not have existed because of Philips. Philips decided to build the first light bulb factory in 1891 in Eindhoven with Gerard Philips. In 1895, his brother Anton joined. And from that, they started to grow the company. And Philips was a very social company, so they invested a lot in sports facilities, education, housing. And also the company grew enormously. It grew so big that at a certain point it also became too big. And that's where you also see where a lot of from the activities have been spin out. But today NXP, ASML, even the VAI Thermo Fisher, they all have a relevance or history with Philips. They've shaped basically our industry in high-tech systems and materials. So you see that also from their core technology and the diversity of companies that we have today, we really excel in advanced manufacturing, in smart green mobility, in the electronics, especially in the microelectronics, nano-electronics and the integrated photonics, wafer fabrication, of course with ASML, but also in the robotics, new energy, especially battery, solar and hydrogen, and in the aerospace, also on looking for new composites for the industry, as well as the maintenance and repair and the machinery that's needed for it. Now ASML, there's a video after this. You know, we're able to build the most complex machine in the world. I think even the new models, they sell for 280 million euros. And even every machine they ever built is still operational. So they're really important for this. And they could have only done that is not just on the technology, but also really on working together in the ecosystem, on the research and development and manufacturing this complex machine. Because ASML basically, lithography is their core business. And if you see that machine, it's only its most essential part, but it's a very small part of that machine. Here's a movie. Today, 85% of all chips in the world are being manufactured by a machine by ASML. But they can only do this with an integrated value chain, where you see this from research and design, from design engineering, prototyping, industrialization, the component and sub-assemblies, as well as system integration, commercialization, service and maintenance. There's all companies in the ecosystem that all do a certain part in this value chain. And that's really a strength of the region, which also creates new opportunities and new companies. But there's always room for startups also to get APs in this equipment making to supply a certain part if there's new technology that's interesting to integrate. What's very important is that ASML today does 28 billion, I just read, turnover bigger than Philips. But you know, beginning of 2000, they almost were bankrupt. And they also saw the weakness of the ecosystem is that too many suppliers were depending on ASML. So they really forced their suppliers that not more than 50% of your turnover could be depending on ASML business. But they also said, please, you know, work together. So work together not only, you know, research and design, but also work together in innovation programs, talent attractions, and business development. And that's where the cooperation Brabant Industries was created to do this, where today 125 companies are member of. And from that idea of joining forces together, sharing information with each other, working together on new projects and prototypes and technology, but also on the business development abroad, they also came to the idea, let's create a campus, in this case the Brabant Industry Campus, where we can work together, you know, what enters on the front door and leaving the back door, there's a company before and a company after to build from a component to a sub-assembly to a really final product. So this particular case, It's 100,000 square meters. There are 20 companies located over there. Today it's 100% fully occupied. On the left side, that's phase one. 2,000 employees and 1,500 students, because this is also the way the education became part of the campus. And on the right side, you see that's phase two, where they want to develop even more than 200,000 square meters on shared facilities, companies that work together, and where education is also part of the system. Another great example, and I think it was already mentioned a few times, is High-Tech Campus, and there's a movie afterwards, where today there's more than 300 companies, 12,500 employees. Whole Center, Alliance are located over here. I think also some of these startups or originate from here. It's really unique, but it all started with Philips, that in 1964 decided to set up their corporate R&D over here, and in 2003 decided to take away all the fences to make it an open campus, open innovation, and invited some of the partners, sometimes also competitors, to join in the campus and share facilities together, really work on new technologies for the future.
Back in the 60s, a top-secret research facility was located right here, Philips Nat Lab, the birthplace of many world-famous inventions. Philips made Eindhoven flourish and created a breeding ground for future technology giants in doing so. The new millennium brought a new wave of inspiration to researchers and engineers in the Brainport region. What started as a top-secret R&D facility transformed into the perfect environment for open innovation. NatLab became High-Tech Campus Eindhoven. Today, High-Tech Campus Eindhoven hosts over 12,000 smart professionals and more than 200 companies closely working together on tomorrow's hardware technology. People from all over the world connect here, in an environment where innovation comes naturally. What our future holds is even more exciting. Software and artificial intelligence became paramount in driving hardware innovation. High-Tech Campus Eindhoven is determined to become one of the world's leading tech hubs, where talent from all over the world comes together to work on major global challenges. An artificial intelligence lab, 5G hub, and high-tech academy are just a few steps on the way to the top. A strong focus on vitality and sustainability will attract even more key players and international talent. High-Tech Campus Eindhoven strongly believes in driving innovation for the greater good, for a better world. To make that happen, we will mobilize our international network, our knowledge, and our facilities. Not just by connecting the right partners, but by actively initiating and taking part in groundbreaking movements. We invite you to join us on this adventure.
I think the High-Tech Campus is the perfect example of what an ecosystem can offer. And we sincerely invite you to come and see. Seeing is believing. There's a long history, distinct history, and cultural and industrial heritage on building companies working together in the high-tech systems. The complete value chain is over there. There's also excellent education with 15 universities in a radius of 1.5 hours drive. And it's also noticed by Japanese companies. We have close to 100 Japanese companies now in the region, that after Amsterdam is the second largest cluster in the Netherlands. In total, we have 1,800 foreign companies in our region, employing 130,000 people directly, and indirectly another 70,000, 80,000 people. That means 1 in 5 people living and working in our province is depending their job on a foreign company. And I think there's some great examples of companies, Japanese companies, some that are already in our region for years, 60 to 80 years. Fujifilm celebrating the 40 years anniversary this year, as we are as well. And some that just recently also selected our region.
Brabant is bright because of an international mix of brilliant people, breaking new frontiers and building trusted networks. The future belongs to those who create it. That's why the BOM works with its partners to actively reach out, showing what's possible both at home and abroad. We encourage Japanese companies to explore our region for themselves, making introductions when needed, acting as an active catalyst for change. Our reward comes from the many success stories, like this one from Sekisui, a multinational designing vehicles for zero collisions. They develop cutting-edge display technologies at the automotive campus in Helmond.
積水化学の柳井と申します。私は今積水化学のヨーロッパの本社に属しておりまして、ここオートモティブキャンパスにデザインスタジオをコロナの時にオープンしました。ここオートモティブキャンパスには産官学連携のインフラがありまして、このインフラを活用して我々の新しいリサーチ、マーケティング、そしてディベロップメントというような活動を欧州で展開できればと思い、オートモティブキャンパスに新しいチームをセットアップするという形で動いています。まだ報道等にはオフィシャルにはなってないところありますけれども、オートモティブキャンパスから一部屋借りて小さいスケールですけれども、ここで実際のプルーフ・オブ・コンセプト、仮説検証のステージを含めた活動を多くのパートナーと一緒にスタートしています。社内にいるとなかなか出会えなかったようなさまざまな新しいパートナー、学生、そういったところの人たちにここにいるとですね、自然とつなぎ合ってくれるというところが最大のメリットと思っています。
I think what's really important, and I think that's also the message that we bring here today, that we want to create value together. And we could do that here, and we could do that in the Netherlands. And all those companies, Japanese companies that are already in our region, we challenge them. We want to talk to them, what is your future plan? How can we make better introductions, and how can we build a sustainable future for the world, and especially also for Brabant. Thank you very much, and I really hope you enjoyed today, and it's almost time for networking.
That's right, yeah.